Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, to my podcast, Cosmic Insight Astrology. My name is Christina. Today I am here actually to discuss the last Saturn and Uranus square, which is going to be not exact by the minute, by the degrees. And we're going to analyze the chart together and try to understand what this square going to bring for us. Okay, so before I start this podcast, I always want you to know, don't focus on the word that is broken right now. Actually, try to initiate a change by your intention and try to manifest some kind of positivity and see the good side and yes, the good side of the life. So I always remind myself of a movie which was The Life is Beautiful. That was a concentration camp in Italy. And the father, the way he made his son survive the camp, because he actually taught him it's a game, and he, like, he made him to concentrate on the positive. So let's escape that kind of reality, and let's initiate something positive in our life. All right, so as I said, Uranus and Saturn square not going to be exact by the minutes, but it's going to happen at 18 degrees. So it's the second decan of both of the signs. So Aquarius, second decan, because Uranus is here, and Aquarius is an earth sign. It's going to be Virgo, and I mean Taurus is an earth sign, and it's gonna be Virgo, the second decan, and Aquarius is an air sign, and it's going to be Gemini. All right, let's see what's going to happen. Before we going to analyze the chart, we need to understand the archetype of Aquarius, Taurus, and the archetype of Saturn and Uranus. So let's talk about Saturn first. What does Saturn indicate in our life and represent? Saturn is limitation. It is restriction, it is caution, organization, endurance, discipline, structure, the road of karma. It is ambition as well. And, like, it's representing the bone and the structure in the body and your teeth, the bone in your body. It's also representing delay and decay and death. So it's a very cold planet, and Saturn actually is represented by numerologically the number 8, and in tarot card it's represented by the word card. So all the responsibilities there. And actually Saturn matures at age 36. And you know what? Saturn is, when it matures, then it brings the positive into our life. And then let's see what about Uranus and what does Uranus brings in for us. So Uranus is represented by the tarot card of Fool, and also numerologically, it's the number resonates with the number 4. It takes 84 years to go around the zodiacal sign, zodiacal circle, and Saturn takes 29.5 years to go around the zodiacal sign. So usually Saturn stays in one sign for 2.5 years, and Uranus stays in one sign around 6-7 years, right? Saturn is a social planet. Uranus is an outer planet. It's a generational planet. Okay, so what does Uranus represent in our life? Uranus is really the rebel, chaos, it's originality, it's innovation and invention. It is unique, very unique. It's also representing the gay people as well, and it's representing independence and, like, not fitting into the mold. It's representing unexpected tornadoes and insight and long-term memory as well. That is the higher octave of understanding. That is the genius brain and the genius mind. Okay, so what does Taurus represent? So Taurus is a fixed earth sign. So it is down to earth, ruled by Venus and rules the second house of possession and income, the income what you make, the salary what you make. It also rules your taste, your garden, your food, your jewelry. And, because it's it's an earth sign, so it is truly practical, very stable and hardworking. And, it seeks for security. And it also a fixed sign. So Taurus is absolutely unyielding and really focused and opposed to any change. But how about you? How about Aquarius? Aquarius is also fixed, so it doesn't want to change, and it's also doesn't. It's absolutely unyielding and also opposed to change. But Aquarius is an air sign, so what that air says over here. So air is communicative, intellectual, and very sociable, but with some kind of restriction and rejection, and but definitely fueled by genius ideas and very innovative. And Aquarius rules the 11th house and Uranus, both of them. So and Uranus rules Aquarius, and the 11th house is the house of luck and the house of relationship. It's really like other oriented and it kind of motivated and like very generous, like humanitarian, really really humanitarian. And then Saturn rules Capricorn, and Capricorn rules the 10th house, and 10th house is practical. It's like giving you structures and building structures. It seeks for recognition and reputation and stability and safety in our life, just like Taurus. Taurus also seeks for safety. So what's going to happen over here? And you know what, let me also mention some kind of Taurian and Venusian elements over here. So for example, Taurus ruled by Venus, and Venus is actually in Taurus is usually money. Venus is, your possession, but also represents art, love, beauty, attraction in our life. But in Taurus, it is your possession and your taste and your garden. And let me tell you some Aquarian and Taurian energies and Saturnian and Uranian herbs and stones also. So for example, Saturn is the Saturnian herbs, because you have to understand we're going to use herbs for remedies and stones for remedies, because the square is a really challenging aspect in heaven. So between those two planets, Saturn and Uranus, the conversation is not fluid, it's not fluent, it's challenges, it's difficult. And Saturn itself, it is, like could be really malefic planet. So then it brings in rejection and restriction. So when we are having that kind of challenges, we're going to need remedies. And remedies, we're going to need to use Saturnian and Uranian herbs and stone, and some Venusian as well, because Uranus is in Taurus, and Taurus ruled by Venus. So, Venus ruled stones are everything with green stones, for example, jade and emerald, and also diamond. If you have, use it, wear it. So it's giving you actually energy and good positive energy, and it is going to heal that area in your life. And also you can use, for example, for teas, or in your bath You can spoil yourself with rose petal or jasmine or anything really, even lavender, anything really fragrant. And you can also do a decoction for tea and steep that kind of herbs and petals, flower petals in hot water and drink it, because those are all Venusian energies and aphrodisiacs. So yes, definitely use rose petal and lavender for calm the nervous system as well. And for Saturnian energy, actually, we can use Holit. Holit is for grief, and Saturn connected with death and rejection and restriction. So Holit is really good for forgiveness and grief as well. Holit is also a good gemstone to heal the body, because it heals the bones and structures. So if you have any kind of issue with teeth or backaches or broke your leg, or like arthritis or anything like that, that is your stone to have. And Saturnian stones are anything black also and gray, like black onyx. It could be obsidian and smoky quartz as well, and Shanghai, but it is also good for the Shanghai, also good for the EMF. So actually, Saturn in Aquarius could be like some kind of restriction with digital currency and with social media, or it is also like working hard on computer. And that's where I wanted to go with it. And if you're working hard on a computer, like you're sitting on the chair all the time, and then you are actually absorbing a lot of EMF. So shungite actually is a good to have a pendant on, or on your computer. I stick actually a stone on my computer, and actually it helps me to reduce the electromagnetic field of all the technology I'm using. So that's what I wanted to go with those remedies. So let me see what about Uranus and how can you use the Uranian energy. So moldavite, that is actually what is that? Meteorite, and it's green. I always have it around my neck because of it is giving me intuition and opening up my crown chakra and connected my mind to the higher mind, to the universal mind. So that is an amazing remedy for Uranus. If you would like to, you cannot just get it in any places where they are selling stones and gems. You have to order it. And then what other Uranian stones we have? We do have actually, also the quartz and the crystals. These are opening the crown chakra, and those are Uranian stones. And also anything which is help you to concentrate, which is amber, and also the yellow citrine helps you to concentrate. So we would use to actually for focus and for Uranian energy. Uranian herbs are rosemary, ginseng, and ginkgo. Whatever helps you, helps your genius mind. And Saturnian herbs are comfrey, for example. It's really good for the backaches and any kind of aches in the body, and also willow bark and peony bark. So I made from willow and peony, I made a tincture, and you can do that with apple cider vinegar, soak that for 3 weeks, or with any kind of alcohol, soak it in. And then you can use a few drops if you have toothache or if you have backache, and just rub it on your back. So I'm doing my own tinctures and I use them. All right, so those are the remedies, but we will need remedies because this is going to square. And what can it bring? I already did a lot of video before, for example, check the video about the old structure are crumbling, and also I made a video about what's gonna happen predict the next 10 years astrologically. But let's analyze this together. So Saturn in Uranus, Saturn in Aquarius. Saturn is the old avatar of Aquarius and co-rules with Uranus, which is going to square to. So Saturn in Aquarius, actually, it's strong. It's a co-ruler. Saturn actually is in detriment in Leo, and it falls in Cancer. Yes, it falls in Cancer. Yeah, unfortunately, I have that, so it's not a strong position. And Uranus, no, wait a minute. Saturn actually detriment in Cancer. Yes, yes, and falls in Taurus. And Uranus is the one, because that's Aquarian, which is detriment in, oh my God, what am I doing? Let me see, just let me think here. Okay, so Saturn rules Capricorn, so it has to be detriment in Cancer, yes, and falls in Cancer, yes. Wait a minute, because of falls in Aries, yes, falls in Aries. So it's detriment in Cancer and falls in Aries, yes. And then Uranus is detriment, because Uranus is 11th house, in Cancer and falls in Taurus. And right now it's in a 4 position. Okay, I'm sorry about that. I had to remind myself. Sometimes, you just study, and then you, I don't know, talk a lot and you just forget, but probably that's cuckoo Mercury over here what made me confused a little bit. So yes, the last one. But I said, so Uranus actually in a 4 position here in Taurus. Saturn is strong in Aqua, right? Because that is the core-ruler. All right, so Saturn in Aquarius, what does it do? So Saturn is restriction, also discipline as well. I was saying it. In Aquarius, it could restrict some kind of energy issues. So actually with this square, it could be, and it could bring some energy restriction around the world. So we're not going to be able to use the energy, and it might be controlled by the government. So the government going to tell us how much electricity or water or, gas or whatever we can actually use a day. So that's not good. Saturn in Aqua also could bring in issues with and square with Uranus with anything with a solar flare, or it could bring in some kind of issue with technology. So for example, censorship. For example, it could mean also, and it doesn't happen only on that day, that it's a month before, month after. So it's affect us not even a month after, it's affect us for a long term. So then here, what we have, it could bring in technological issues. We're going to be censorship. People are going to be deleted. It's going to bring in some kind of issue how you will enter your tribe. So they're not going to let you or to see, which tribe is connected to which tribe on social media. So there is going to be some kind of conflict. And then Saturn in Aquarius could be also, actually, if it wouldn't square, but it does square, because Saturn in Aquarius could be some kind of structure of humanitarian project. So we will need to actually build more structure, have more non-profits and build up more non-profits. But, here, that is squaring, so that's not a good aspect. And also still square with North Node. North Node is Jupiterian energy, and it's the Lord, it's a karma, but it's future oriented. And here in Taurus, it's something with our money, the way we are making money, and the way we are farming. Also, Uranus is very technological farming, and Uranus in areas also can bring a lot of tsunamis and changing in weather condition and chaotic and catastrophic event in weather conditions. So it could be like tornadoes, it could be like tsunamis, it could be like and the eclipse happening here. So yeah, definitely scorpionic watery eclipse, like the solar eclipse that's going to be in October. So it definitely could bring in late hurricane season, but definitely tsunamis as well, and nuclear issues. Why? Okay, because of the square going to happen at 18 degrees. And what happened in 18 degrees in July 30th? So July 30th, we had North Node, Uranus, and Mars conjuncted in Taurus at 18 degrees, right? So what is that? Some kind of nuclear war. It could initiate it. It could restart. It could ignite that kind of fight. It could revisit that kind of topic, but also it could be some kind of introduce some kind of military drone, but it will be restricted by other countries' governments. So it could also create some kind of difficulties in the way we are communicating. So as I said, because of the energy going to be restricted or social media, they're going to be centralized, and they're not going to let us to connect with each other somehow. So it could be a blackout, something like that, because Saturn is coldness, Saturn is darkness. So it could be a total blackout for a few days, and we won't be able to use electricity, and we won't be able to use internet. However, if we are looking into the future, and that's why I said always stay connected with your authentic yourself, and your intention is very, very important, because of Uranus is strong, and it will be strong, and it's gonna go to Gemini, and when it's gonna go to Gemini in 2026, it's going to be more powerful over there. And because Saturn also moving to Pisces, all right, and Pluto moving to Aquarius. So that Capricornian energy, that structure, powerful people energy gonna be over in March. So in March, we're going to have a lot of changes, and Uranus going to get supported, because Pluto in Aquarius support Uranus, because Uranus rules Aquarius. Okay, so that's going to actually bring in change, but on the positive way. It's going to turn everything to the positive. So right now you might feel the structure, the old structure is winning, and we are controlled, and we could be controlled. It could be another lockdown for some kind of new virus coming in. I was talking about in my video about the eclipse. So some kind of other virus could come in. And what could it be? What could be the virus? Okay, look, it's initiating, and it's recharging actually the 18 degrees Mars Uranus in Taurus. Taurus could be some kind of co-disease, metco. Mars is your head, and the infection of the head. So it could actually bring in some kind of meningitis or metco disease, or anything with brain related issue. However, it could also bring in some kind of invention, Uranus's invention, in Alzheimer, Parkinson, ALS, but it won't be available for the public yet, because Saturn is going to stop it. It's just going to be available for the privileged, all right? It's gonna be there, it's gonna be available, but not for the public, all right? And what else can we talk about? So yes, oh yeah, you know what? So farming going to be, the technology is changing with Uranus in Taurus, and farming food, we're going to have food crisis, guys. Like Saturn is restriction and it's limitation. Fixed sign Taurus, it's your food. However, with this challenge that we will have, we're not going to have grains. We're going to have our grain field either flooded or either, drought. But with Uranus, this is a very high technology. So because of this challenge, we will be capable to challenge ourselves and invent something, amazing technology actually to prevent later on in life, in the future, to have that difficulties with food again, okay, limitation with food again. Saturn is starvation. Uranus is unexpected starvation. Why? Because of, you won't be able to cook the food. Even if you have it, you won't be able to cook it because of the energy crisis. It also can bring in some kind of accident with Uranian energy, with nuclear structures. So that is structure, that is nuclear. So some kind of issues with nuclear structures. And because it's going to ignite the 18 degrees when Mars is here, it could be an accident. It could be like targeted by a war. But it also could be Uranus is aliens. And then Mars is like alien spaceship. And it could be, we could get invaded by aliens, or we could sight aliens, and it could be really often. So it's, it's gonna be obvious, really obvious right now. Okay, and then I wanted to talk, yes, medical technology, so move forward. Uranus is in Taurus. Oh my, I'm sorry about that, I'm stuttering. That is definitely Mercury is throwing me off today. So Uranus in Taurus is medical technology, and so North Node is here. So in medical technology, the invention going to be amazing, crazy. And yes, so it's gonna be really amazing innovation and invention over there. But let's see another thing here. So for example, Saturn is squaring with Uranus, so that is limitation of not only food, but farming opportunities. So Saturn is sucking everything dry out, and it could be like some kind of, that is, for example, bacterial infection, okay? Saturn is cold and bone related as well. So it could be also be going to face some kind of bacterial infection of the bones, which is or the membrane of the bones. It could be that as well. Okay, what else I wanted to talk about? Probably I wanted to talk about a lot, but listen, definitely, take care of yourself and use, for example, mullein. Yes, I wanted to say also the mullein is really good for cold when you get cold, and that could be a bacterial infection. So you can drink mullein tea or mullein tincture. You can use rosemary. For example, if you don't feel focused, rosemary is really good for the brain. And like every remedies I was talking about. Let's see what else. So, Taurus ruled by Venus, and on that day when the square is happening, we're going to have a 135-degree aspect between Venus and Uranus. It's almost like a square. So Venus in Libra, it's relationship and love. Uranus is the gay people. So it is a challenge over there. And because of Uranus also square Saturn, and Saturn is government, and Aquarius is also gay people here, and Saturn also black people as well, darker complexion. So between that, it could be something like, I assume, some kind of issue with gay marriages or with gay adoption could come up. Or also, because Uranus is protest and rebellion, it could be like the same-sex marriage people going to protest and rebel, or the darker complexion people. And another Black Lives Matter or something else could come for us as well. All right, guys, definitely it could be more accident due to tsunamis and like even volcano eruptions, underwater activities. So maybe those big ships that is transporting the grains and the food, actually it could sink. Definitely I see that coming. And I'm telling you, it's going to be difficult, but I'm also telling you, if you can do an own garden, do something self-sufficient, do something like a hydroponic garden for yourself. I do that, and we have food at home, and make sure your pantry is full. And if you cannot cook because of you are in Europe and energy not going to be available for you, you still can soak your rice, you still can do things that could be and could make the food edible. But yeah, there is going to be difficulties. Saturn is also mountain and freezing, right? So for example, if I see Saturn is also chronic illnesses. So I can see, because of the energy deficiency, and in Europe, for example, if they're going to cut the power or limit everything, a lot of people can freeze to death, unfortunately. Or it could be create chronic illness of the bone because of the people are freezing, and mold and darkness. So it could create chronic illness for us as well. So use the remedies, keep using the remedies, and reach out if you need any help in your comment, because I'm willing to give anybody the help there. So just concentrate on the positive, and let's create something more beautiful in the future. Talk to you later, guys. Check out my website, which is www.urbanwitch.org, and go to policies and information, and you can connect me. Bye. Thank you.